couldn't.
I wish. Great background, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Hey, just like when you worked at the system office, right? Every day is a day at the beach.
You got it, Keith. Living the life that I always imagined.
Okay, do we have everybody back? I think we're pretty. I got to join both sessions. So Charlie, I think the one theme is give Jim a blank check.
I don't remember that in our conversation.
Tracy, come on! I all the support I throw your way, and you're going to leave me hang like that.
I'm not
What
saying that. I
cut
just
with
don't
Charlie?
quite remember it that way. But hey, we're only at the first meeting, so who knows?
No, that's okay. No,
Jim,
yeah,
Secretary Weaver, when we did the governor's budget, it was targeted in strategic investments. Now that we have the updated revenue forecast, blank check works.
Wait a minute, there's a number of my staff that heard you just say that. They're going to be like, show me the money here, Jerry. Oh, okay, we got
I
everybody.
was going to say, this is Newsom. I heard that one.
I said it in front of the auditor. Madam Auditor, I take it back.
Well, and I just note for all of you that I see up in the corner that the recording is underway. So,
Yeah, Madam Auditor, if I got a blank check, I would give you a premier internal audit program here in DIT.
Oh, wow, that one's tough. That one's tough. Charlie, I might have to lean into that a little bit.
Okay, we'll let my colleague here off the hook a little bit. Thanks for giving us some humor here, Charlie. I will tell you that I did get to bounce literally back and forth a couple times and got to listen to the great discussions that were really occurring. And, I think in the security discussion, we basically had to cut them off because it probably would have kept on going. And Tracy, I'm assuming it was probably similar in your session. I wasn't there for the tail end of it, but a lot of great discussion going on. So I think at this time, we're going to ask our respective chairs to kind of report out how they spent their last hour. So Tracy, why don't you go first?
Sure, thanks. I will be pretty quick with the report, but what I will say at the outset to brag on our committee is my finger was paused over the rejoin button when you had us rejoin. So our timing was impeccable, although we did have one topic we had to defer to our next meeting. So just real briefly, we started with introductions of the committee. We proceeded on to talk through the draft charter at a fairly detailed stage. Even though we've done that before, we thought it was useful as the individual committee members, knowing we're now taking responsibility for doing these things, that we had a little bit more clarity and understanding of what we would do, the work we would do, and how we would do that. I would just say for this larger group, we spent a fair amount of time talking about the need to be helpful to the state and not get conflated and tangled up with management. And so we talked about some of how we would do that work would be to meet a few times, maybe a monthly meeting over the next few months, devise some high-level planning, again, in coordination with the plan that you've already outlined for us, Jim. And then we would maybe stand down for a little while, give the state some time to work that into its plans so that we weren't meeting on a monthly basis, looking at our watches saying, where's the progress since last month, knowing as we all do that some of these things can take a few months or a little bit of time to get worked in. So we worked through the charter. We're also sensitive to the fact that one of the roles this group needs to play is one of advocacy toward helping to smooth lines and connect dots, not only within DIT, but with some of the other agencies. We know there's a primary job for management and the state officials to do that, but we believe we should also acknowledge that there's a role we can help to play there by bringing awareness to it. So working through the charter, there are some changes that our colleagues at FountainWorks will make to that, minor changes. We identified, in addition to the 4 members of our committee, that's myself, Keith Briggs, Joe Abernathy, and Jim Weaver. We identified 3 or 4 other prospective members who are people outside the ITSB, but who we believe will have very good and relevant knowledge and insight to the work of our committee. And so with our help of Glenn, we will be working on identifying and engaging those individuals. We also, as the closing point around the charter, we also identified that we would have monthly meetings for the next 3 months, and I actually have a start at looking toward timelines for the group. So we feel like we made really good progress. We also, in addition to the work through the charter and setting the stage for what we'll do over the coming weeks and months, we also heard background on the constituent portal that Glenn provided us with, and that was very helpful. I think we would especially resonate with the notion of listen to the users, right? Listen to your clients as you think about the things you're about to introduce as a common portal for the constituency broadly within the state. So I'm not big on taking a lot of airtime, but I think we've got a really good start. And key in that, Jim, will be working with you and your team to make sure, as you describe your goal too of changing, transforming some of your services, that we don't tangle up with that, and rather that we support it. Likewise, we all agree that the notion of broadband is one that is so fundamentally empowering to all of the transformation that we'll need to follow, that we really want to be as helpful to that as we can. So let me stop and let me invite my my committee members and or Glenn, who's ex officio on that committee, to chime in if you think there's anything I missed other than the snoring dog, which you can hear again, and who actually is right here with me, looking like she has had a tough day.
I heard that was the highlight of the meeting, to be honest.
Indeed, most of my meetings, my snoring dog is the highlight, I will tell you that. Let me ask Keith, Joe, Glenn, other points.
Just one other point. I thought, Tracy, you did an excellent job meeting it as chair, and I'm glad that decision was made. Otherwise, your notes resonated with my notes.
Great. Well, thank you, Tracy and team. Jeff, I know you guys had a very invigorating conversation.
Yes, this morning we had the opportunity to craft and fully implement a detailed cybersecurity plan that makes the state completely resilient. We call the program Code 11, and
that blank check, we'll have it all done tomorrow.
Sure, and safe.
You've got us beat, Jeff. You're an overachiever.
We just have outstanding committee members, and led, of course, by Rob. Had all this actually pre-done for us, so it was great. We focused on looking at charter as well and identifying kind of the goals and objectives we're trying to head towards, kind of adding a layer around programs, seeing that we can catalog those, identify those. The folks in DIT obviously have their hands well around this and things that we need to do. The members have some ideas, but at the end of the day, it's going to come out to be focus and priorities. For us, it's things that we need to advance and advocate for legislatively and funding-wise, because funding is going to be critical to being able to stand up a strong cyber plan, to make sure we're in lockstep between the governor's office, the legislature, and the folks responsible for carrying out this mission as we go forward. So we are ready to roll up our sleeves. Again, our idea is there's going to be a long litany and laundry list of things to do. But at the end of the day, we're going to try to focus on 3 items, those to be ranked in out of a number of things that we discussed today. But let's, from our committee's purpose, is let's advocate for 2 or 3 things. Let's make sure we got the funding for those things and make sure they come to fruition. Then we'll get results. Within that, we've also agreed on a time frame to meet. We're going to meet on the 4th Friday of each month at 8:30 in the morning, and we're going to have a hard stop at 90 minutes. We're going to try to move to a basis where the agenda is set in advance, material sent beforehand. People are going to be expected to do their homework. We'll share issues, ideas in communication through emails or through the staff and FountainWorks, and then come prepared to address and make decisions at those meetings. There'll be a little bit of background. Early on, we're going to try to get our handle around current assessment, our risk assessment, if you will, and also kind of get a little better understanding around our current response management protocols that we do around cybersecurity. Ultimately, we're going to have some kind of cyber plan. We're going to have a budget around it. We want to become, as I define, a very efficient, resilient environment. And defining that simply as we know we're going to get hacked, assuming an incident happens, how do we respond and how quickly are we back in operational pre-incident? And that is the ultimate measure that, and the things that we have to do around that to be in that environment. We are blessed to be in the hands of Jim and Rob. Jim, it's unusual to have somebody sitting as a state CIO who's actually done the job before, rather than purely be a political appointment, but actually somebody with the expertise to deliver it. And Rob, I am so completely impressed with your background and your focus on this and your expertise around this. So we are in good hands from that perspective. So that's what's going on at least the initial steps with our committee. And members, anyone that sat in on the conversation, anything you want to add, chime in, please.
I think the tone of our discussion was focused around, how we can model something actionable and executable with local governments, our K through 12 partners, our community college systems, and state agencies. And that focus will be centered around following the data and what the data tells us. So thank you for the compliment, Senator, and I appreciate the opportunity to participate.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. And again, thank you, Tracy. So I know as I was onboarding back in March, I know there board members were concerned about past lack of activity from the board. I'm hoping you're seeing a different tone and demeanor. We are serious about getting some stuff done. As much as I joke with Charlie there, I do know Charlie, if he can find some loose change in the sofa cushions, he's going to help us out where we need help. But again, it goes back to us being able to articulate a plan and what that all means. And then it becomes a lot easier to get funding for those types of things because we have something tangible, documentable, measurements, outcomes, cost savings. That's all the kind of stuff that Charlie loves to have, and it's an easier sell than when we talk to the General Assembly as well. So again, I want to thank all of my staff here. I know Susan, the Fountain Works folks, Lee, Nate, I got Nicole here and Jonathan as well. You guys did a fantastic job of keeping things going here over the last 3 months. So thank you so much publicly for all you're doing to help support this. And then before I go to other business, I don't know if Rocco's still on or not. Rocco, are you still there?
I'm here.
Rocco, do you want to do you have any comments or anything? I didn't give our vice chair an opportunity to talk at all.
Well, I sat in on the digital transformation piece. I didn't get a chance to get over to the CIPR, but I'm looking forward to catching up with Jeff a little bit on that. But thought it was an excellent meeting, and it looks like we're off to a great start on a number of fronts.
Okay, great. And again, thank you for all your help here over the last 3 months too, and all the things behind the scenes that you've done, or convincing Tracy and Jeff to do this. So thank you. We're going to go ahead then and we'll move on to other business. So do any of our board members have any other business they want to bring up or discuss? Okay, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything in chat either. Okay, I'm not seeing anything, so we'll go ahead and move on. With this weekend, just a reminder, tomorrow's Juneteenth. A very important day and something for us to just remember and the significance of that event in our nation's history. And then also on Sunday for the dads here, happy advanced Father's Day. May you have an enjoyable day there as well. So with that, our next meeting appears to be Friday, September 17th. So my team will get all that stuff and that material out there. And as you can see from the two report outs from the teams as well, or the committee teams, that we have a lot of work to do to support the efforts they're going to have underway. So with that, absent of any other business, I'm going to go ahead and we'll call this meeting adjourned and see you over the next couple of months. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Hey, Jim.
Yes.
One quick comment. I think I speak for everybody. You're doing an amazing job. This is just terrific. I feel like this board is really rolling and it's exciting and I'm happy to be a part of it. And I think you've just done an excellent job in your short time in your position. So thank you for your leadership and excited to be part of it.
Thank you, Joe. It's easy to be the big idea guy when you have a talented team under beneath you that's making stuff happen. So like I said, the team here is keeping all the oars going in this at the right speed and going in the right direction, right? So thank you for that. So comments, but it's a team effort.
Well, that's another sign of a good leader, is giving credit to the people doing the work. So thanks again.
Oh, well, thank you very much. But the folks deserve the credit. I just get to sit there and take I guess I get to take the big credit for it. I don't know. Anyway, but thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Tracy.
Yeah, thanks,
Ditto.
Tracy.
See you guys all
Take
soon.
care, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a great rest of
everyone.
the day.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Have a good weekend.